All right.
We're live.
Excellent. I'm so glad we're live. This is Alicia Stringer here, and I am in Nashville. And I still see the off air for me because there it goes live. Because my internet may be a little bit slow, so I might be popping off here as I have another appointment in the next hour. But I am so pumped to hear Greg's story today. I told everybody that he was kind of the hustler in keeping the millionaire mindset, because you want to get to a point where you can hustle, where you create the success streams that you want to create, and then just go and travel the world and live kind of that lazy lifestyle that you really want. And I think getting that perspective from Greg will get you thinking out of the box of so many different ways that you want to create in your life. And the reason why I wanted Greg to come on here was I heard from the grapevine. Now, you can prove me wrong, Greg, if you want me to, but there are some people that say if you want to know how to really hustle, you get in touch with what Greg's doing, because he really just tears down right away inside of your heart and your passion and what you're doing, because it's like, I know someone's hurt you along the way. Someone has gotten you, and we want to bring that out right away. We want to clear the ground that this is straight, this is what's going to happen, and because you want to get to a level of like where Greg's doing, we travel the world and keeping that millionaire mindset straight. So I'm excited to hear, even if you find out what strategy he does use in his marketing or whatever, it's just open and full-hearted to know where he's coming from. So I'm excited to hear more of Greg's story, and please forgive me if I'm having to hop off and traveling as I am here in Nashville today. Multiple things that I've got going on, and you got to be spoiled every once in a while. I'll give you a little peek. All right, you guys. I'll move it over to Valerie, Keisha, and let them introduce themselves and take some notes, my friends. You will not want to miss what Greg says today. Thanks, Valerie.
All right. I'm going to bring up Keisha. Go enjoy, Alicia.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right. I'm excited to be here with Greg. I had the opportunity to meet him at our last event, and I hear wonderful and great things about you, Greg. I know a little bit about your success, and I know how successful you are. I see you all over the world, okay? And I know you're going to share some awesome and transformational things for everyone out there listening. So you want to stay tuned. You want to, like Alicia said, get your pen, your recorder, whatever you can. And if you're watching this in the recording, guys, do the same. We interact. If you have any comments, put it in the comments, and we will get back to you. We're excited that you're here with us. And I'm live from Philly, so kudos to everyone out there on the East Coast. And I'm going to turn it over to you guys over there on the West Coast. Valerie.
All right. Hey, Valerie Jampolsky here, and I am a single mom of twins. I'm here from Abundance Now, and everybody jokes about this. Every week I give the naked kid alert, and last week one of them actually climbed up over on the edge, but I think we actually managed to, I think I was on the lower panel, so you had to look really hard to see what was going on. They're in the other room. I think they're settled in. Here doing this, love doing this. I'm here so I can be at home with my kids. Used to be an attorney, and I want to be home with my kids, be able to do this and have these kinds of hangouts and communicate with incredible people like Greg. Greg, I'm so excited, man, to see you here. So I'm going to pass it on over to you in a sec. I wanted to lead in because I know, you have such a powerful mindset. You really do. And for those that don't know Greg, he's incredibly successful entrepreneur. I believe seven figures. Yeah, you made 7 figures online, something close. Yeah. And income disclaimer. Always have to say that. But wanting to ask you, I'm going to start off with this and lead into, wherever you want to go with this. But what would you say is like the most powerful mindset shift that you had that led to your success, and how did you get there? Because I'm dying to know.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate first for you guys having me on here today. Just awesome. And to answer your question, it's just desire. I got started in this profession when I was 17, actually. I wasn't even old enough to get started. And I was standing at an event with a guy named Jim Rohn. And My mentors were guys like Jim Rohn and Les Brown and Brian Tracy, and I'd be backstage with them, and those are kind of my mentors. And all I knew was I wanted something greater, right? I wanted to live a life that most people don't get to live, and to do that, you have to be willing to live a life at that time that most people don't want to live, right? To end up living a life like most people won't be able to live. Mm-hmm. So I knew from testimonials, I knew from stories, things like that, and just straight personal development that it was something I wanted. And Jim Rohn told me when I was 18, he said, it only takes about a half dozen things that make about 90% of the difference between success and failure.
Mm. Wow. And that's so amazing. You actually being mentored by Jim Rohn when you were like a teenager. That's powerful. That is so powerful. So what would you say is like, share with people a little bit of your story as well, but we'd love to know, like, what is your process of, what do you use, like, how have you used your mindset and keep it developed and keep it alive in a positive space through everything that you've been doing over the years?
Right, yeah. So, I mean, my story is, I got started when I was 17, like almost 18. Yeah. And I come from like an Asian family where you've either got to be a doctor, a lawyer, or something like that, right? Or an engineer. And that is, I went totally against the grain, right? So my dad was going to give me the money to get started. I think the first company was like $200 to get started. And I didn't have $200. So he said, if you join college, I'll pay for you, right? So I went to this local community college. I joined, and because I applied to all these colleges, and they said no, you don't, right? So I went there. I signed up, and then my dad gave me his credit card number, and I still remember filling out this app, right, with a pen, and it was all scratchy. There was coffee stains in it and stuff, and I mailed it to these people. And back then we had to use mail. So they called me and they said, "Who is this?" I said, "Well, it's that kid." They said, "Okay, well, we'll just sign you up and stuff." So I got started and I took it serious, right? I went through the training, right? I did what it said to do. And I think my first year, I signed up one person because that was my dad, and because I paid for him with his credit card, right? So that was my first year. So talking about, going, and going crazy with it and having all the success. No, there's a story behind the story. And sometimes, Valerie, people don't tell you the story behind the story, right? You see people with all the success, and you're like, well, why am I not having that success? Well, there is a story that happened behind that story. So I went from that company. I actually got kicked out of that company because I wrote too much volume. 5 years later, I was the youngest top producer in that company. I actually won't even say their name here because that's how like crazy that company is. But I actually went to the top, and I got kicked out because I was writing too much volume, right? And those are the types of things that happens in those types of places. So I probably 20 companies later, right? 2.5 years ago.
Your sound cut out, Greg. You say
okay,
something?
can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. There you go. There you go.
Yeah. So about 2.5 years ago, still an entrepreneur. Still, I was struggling in another deal. What I say is struggling is, you're making 10, 15, 20,000 a month, but you have no life, right? You're making all these phone calls. You're doing three-way calls. You're doing hotel meetings. It just sucks, right? And I heard about this guy kept on calling me and said, you got to hear, this guy speak on this phone. So I called in, I listened, for the internet marketing company, and I just got started. And it was the best decision I've ever made. I get to do what I want when I want. But here's the deal, right? I put everything that I went through, okay, is kind of got me, my mindset was already there, right? I already knew what I had to do. And here's the cool part. The people that get started today, they don't have to go through what we went through back then. I mean, I literally remember we used to have to do exposures, and to do that, we'd have to hand out like an audio tape or a video tape and all this stuff. I mean, it's crazy. I can send someone to a website, right? I can go online, right? I can buy some paid traffic, right? I can send it to a website. They watch the video, they put their email in, and they sign up, and I get paid. I mean, how crazy is that? I don't have to. I mean, I remember the days we used to take these magazines and these DVDs, and we used to actually mail them to people. Like, I'd have a stack right, of stuff that we would get ready by 4 o'clock. We'd go to the post office. We'd send it out by the $2 to $3 mail, and we'd do as many of those as we could a day. And maybe we'd get 1 out of 50 to join, right? And we'd get this horrible 10% commission. So those are the types of things I have to go through. The cool part about what we're doing now is anybody from any background can get started, right? Get the education they need and just go to work. So here's the thing: I know it works, right? So when people tell me it doesn't work, I'm like, listen, I'm not looking for your opinion of whether it works or not. I already know it works. I just want to know if you want to participate. That's it. So that's kind of the mindset I've had, and I always plug into personal development, right? If my car is moving, if I'm doing something, so here's what I like to do. And if you figure this one thing out, and this is what you'll get from a book called The Slight Edge. The Slight Edge, incredible book, was actually written by one of my sponsors in this profession. If you understand the Slight Edge and put that into your regular life with everything you do, I mean, that's the answer right there. And all kind of goes back to Think and Grow Rich and stuff like that. But if you just separate yourself, Valerie, from the rest of the crowd, which is so easy to do because the masses are so predictable, right? If you just separate yourself and do something different every day, you'll see the results in literally 60, 90 days, a year. So that's all I've done. I've just kind of stayed the course and just kind of changed course a little bit. If you look at when the rocket ship's going to the moon, it's off track 99%, right? But it's always adjusting that gyroscope to get there. So I'm always adjusting, I'm always learning, but the basics will always stay the basics.
I love that. And so the things that, some of the things that you were saying is that, that you kept going and you keep adjusting. You just kept going and you keep adjusting and trusting what's in front of you. And that's so, I mean, it seems so simple, but it's actually extremely powerful that you do that. It's like it's extremely powerful. Keisha, do you have any questions? I'm going to quickly check and see if anybody has any questions in the chat for us.
What stood out to me is what you said, Greg, when you said you have to separate yourself from the masses, from what everyone else is doing, and then you'll see the results. And that's so important. I know when I first started out online, that was very, very difficult for me. It took me quite a while to do that, and I felt like I was telling myself that I was better than other people, and I didn't want to offend other people, and that was where I had limitations. And until I realized that was going to help me grow and get to my next level, that's when it made all the difference for me. And I'm still growing, I'm still learning, but that was powerful when you said that, because that was an important piece to some success that I've had in this business.
Right, and I mean, it's literally, I mean, here's the thing. I've been in so many different things, different companies, okay, different countries, different cultures, different languages, different products, and you can still create the same success because the basics are always the basics, right? And it really boils down to the you factor, right? If you're in a company, okay, now this is gonna ruffle some people's feathers, right? If you're in a company or an organization, okay, and there's somebody having massive success, right, going on stage, and you're not. Okay, think about this. You guys have the same products, you have the same comp plan, you have the same sales videos, you have all the same tools, right? Yet they're successful and you're not. Well, it's called the you factor, okay? It's you, it's not the company, because if other people are achieving success and you're not, you really got to get back to it and say, who am I and why am I not achieving that success, and who do I have to become, right, to create that type of success, right? Success is something you attract, not chase. It's something you attract by becoming an attractive person.
I love that. So we have one question coming here from Michelle Tafoy. Before we get to that, I would love what are the things that you have done to make yourself, in that energetic way, an attractive person. You are an attractive person, you know what I'm saying?
Right. So to do that, it's just constant personal development, right? The other day, I was listening to I was listening to the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone, and I'm like, I mean, it's just that stuff. You gotta continuously feed your brain. There's so much garbage out there, right? That always goes into your head. I remember Tony Robbins always said that Jim Rohn taught him stand guard to the doors of your mind. You got to be really careful with what goes in there, and that's why I'm always feeding my mind. I'm always doing that, because the more you do that, the more attractive you become, and that's just something you always have to do. I mean, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. That's just the way it is. You always have to be. You have to be growing, and you can only grow if you're around people that have created more success than you.
Wow, that's cool. And I want to say we have one of somebody watching. One of our watchers, Michelle Tafoya, had a question for you. She wanted to know, you know, if you've ever been stuck, what did you do to get past it? What was your process to get past getting stuck, if you've ever felt yourself getting stuck?
You know, and here's the thing. There's probably nobody over the course of the last 14 years that's wanted to quit more than me, okay? There's probably no one that's been as stuck as me. Here's the way you get out of getting stuck. A massive burst of activity. Mm-hmm. And it happens to all of us, right? What we do is we go in what's called 90 days. This is what I've done. I go in what's called a 90-day burst of activity. Okay, I just go 90 days straight. Now, if you go to every successful marketer out there, okay, whatever you want to look at, they can always track back their success to what's called a 90-day burst of activity, where they just put the blinders on and they go for 90 days. And if you do that, if you just go for 30 days. If you have a burst of activity, you just watch what happens. If you look at our company, what they do is they have an event every 90 days, right? That's called a clue. Okay, we build the 90-day cycles. We go from event to event, and we build the 90-day cycles. And if you're stuck, just go crazy, right? Go crazy as hard as you can go for the next 30, 60, 90 days. And the chances of you crossing that stage, they go right through the roof.
I love that. And there's something really powerful that you just said that I want to emphasize, and I would love for you to expand on a little bit. You said, put the blinders on. You said, put the blinders on and massive action for 90 days. What does put the blinders on mean for you?
The blinders are, you just get laser focused. Okay, there's no distractions. There's none of this TV stuff, right? We would always call this A time and B time, right? During the day, what are you doing during the day, right? Are you sitting down and reading a book? No, that's kind of B time stuff. That's nighttime stuff, right? The bottom line is this: how many times a day is your company being promoted? Is it being seen by eyeballs? That's just the way it is, right? And what kind of activities are you doing to get that? You know, people can be excited, and I can call someone and say, hey, I'm excited, right? And they can call back and say, hey, I'm excited too. Hey, let's go to lunch. We're both excited. That's not going to do anything for you, right? You have to realize that while you're doing something that's not productive, there are other people doing something that is productive, okay? And here's how you gain market share. You keep going. Because there are other people that are not. Now here's the thing. In every company, every organization, they call it the 80-20 rule. That still exists, right? That exists in the company you're in, right? It exists when you go to a company event. There is still the 80-20 rule. Now, what are you going to do to separate yourself from everybody else? Even in higher organizations, you can still separate yourself, right? You got to realize that, and you got to say, what do I have to do right now to separate myself from that, and to just keep going even harder? And you just look at it and say, okay, well, while those people are going and hanging out, you know what? I'm going to go read 15, 20 pages of a good book. I'm going to listen to 20 minutes of a good audio. I'm going to do the things that others won't be willing to do, so I can have what they don't have.
Wow, that's powerful. That's so powerful. Well, Keisha, it looks like you were saying something.
I just wanted to say it's so funny that that is actually the quote that I used when I was promoting this Hangout for you, Greg, in the income disclosure. Because when I shared, you have extraordinary results, and that's because of that. Because whoever has looked at that post, they may not take any action, but right. Those are seen by just what you just said. Those that are willing to do those things now that others aren't willing to do, so that they can do what others won't be able to do later. So I just, that's awesome.
And I love that. And for me, I love the whole thing with the blinders thing of just almost. Would you say there's almost like a little bit of a letting go of expecting an immediate result. Because I know a lot of folks, they'll do something for a few days, and if they don't see themselves all of a sudden climb a massive amount of result, they go, oh wow, this isn't working, or they start, doubting themselves, saying, oh well, someone else can do it, but I don't know if I can do it, kind of thing. And I'm just curious if part of that put those blinders for you, the first time you might have ever done that would have been saying, you know what, I'm just going to trust and just keep going and going and going. I'm setting this, I'm going to do this for 90 days and just plow it out and not stay attached to the immediate initial results. Is that by chance?
That's, you know what, you just kind of said that. Another one of my good friends in our profession, another one of my sponsors, Eric Worre, right? Yeah. I was stuck. This is back when I was like 21, and I still remember I was sitting with Eric Worre, and I said, dude, I'm stuck, man. How do I get there? He said, well, listen, I'm going to tell you the secret. I said, okay, tell me the secret. I'm ready, man. Tell me the secret. He said, it's to get success in this profession and anything you do, it's doing the little things over and over and over again, which seem to make no difference in the act of doing it, right? The compounded effect kicks in 30, 60, 90 days later, and then you've got success, even a year later. See, successful people, they do those mundane things. They master the mundane. They do those little things over and over and over again, even though there's no success, right? But they know that down the road, they're going to have massive success. They have that faith, right, and that belief. Because here's the deal. When you see other people doing it, right, you know there's already success, and that's what testimonials are for, right? If other people have already done it, and they have the same tools and resources that you have, really it boils down to the you factor. And if you can just understand it's doing those little things, right, over and over and over, you're not going to see results right away. I mean, when you get a gym membership, you see results the first week. No, you don't, right? And that's just it, and it works the exact same way. Because here's the deal. Remember this, while you keep going through those processes, you're becoming a different person as well, right? And it's not what you get, it's who you become, and who you become will determine ultimately what you get.
Yeah, that's powerful. That's powerful. So, do you have, like, would you say you have a specific, like, in terms of mindset, a particular like daily method of operation that you do every day, or is it more free flow with an intention? Like, how do you, in terms of the mindset portion, what would be the things that you have as like the things that you do every day?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got a daily method of operation, and in the morning, I've always got personal development going for maybe half an hour to an hour, again, to separate myself. I say, what would the average person be doing right now? Well, they're probably driving a car to work, or they're probably complaining about how much their job sucks. So if they've got the day off, they're probably at home watching TV or doing something. So I'm going to do something to separate myself. So I'm going to put, good audio on or something like that. I started going through Think and Grow Rich again, 10th time. I mean, I swear the book has been rewritten, right? The book actually has not been rewritten. It's just that I've grown as a different person, right? And I take it in differently. So I'm like listening to it this morning and last night, and I'm like, I don't even remember that part. And they were talking about desire and 6 ways to turn something into gold. And I'm like, I don't remember this. How did I miss this like 10 times before? So, personal development in the morning. When I go through the day, I limit what I'm exposed to. So if someone's literally, if I'm at my parents' house and my dad's watching like the news or something, I will literally get up and I'll go to the other room, because I have to be careful about what I'm exposed to. The people I associate with, your associations are so important. Right? That's probably one of the most important things in this hangout here, that if you can get something, right? Your associations, the people you hang around with. Remember, who you hang around with is who you become. They used to always tell us back in the day, show us who you hang out with, and we will guess your bank account, right? And they'd always be right, okay? So, I'm always, if I get in the car, I'll put the radio on and stuff like that, but I will also dedicate some of that time to some personal development, right? I'm always going to events. If I can find an event, I'm going to that event, because you know what? There's something I can learn. When I see an event and some people are like, well, that's too expensive, I'm like, man, how much is that event going to make me, right? There's probably one line I'm going to get from that event that's going to make me $1 million, right? So it's really about a shift in thinking, okay, and changing the way that you think in order to create those types of results, and just and just model someone that's worthy of being modeled. Find a leader and model them, and all these things will tie in together. And when you figure out how they all tie in together, you'll just start having massive success. Remember, money flows to people that create products, services, products and services, and that's kind of what you're doing here. You're providing products and services and skills, and money just abundantly flows. And in order to do that, you need to become skillful, and to get skillful, just start reading the books, listen to the tapes, go to the events, and you'll get everything.
Wow, that's everybody rewind, watch it again, take notes. What just came out? It was like literally like nugget and nugget and nugget after nugget after nugget. I'm gonna quickly again look into the chat. Keisha, Alicia, you want to hop out? Do you have any questions for Greg or anything that he just said? There was just so much he just said. I'm just going to go see what are the reactions here. Hang on one second.
It's powerful. I was checking the chat myself. Everyone's saying, boom, compounded. You know, everyone is really just resonating and connecting to what you're saying, Greg. We have quite a few viewers making comments. And Lucy says, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. She says she just put that on her Facebook page, and she has all these exclamation marks. So I know it's great when you can see that you're connecting and your mindset is similar, or it can resonate to someone that is really having success, and you know you're doing the right things. You know that you are thinking the right things. And so I know you guys out there are like, all right, that's awesome, I'm on track. And so that's why we have these type of events, to just share this type of information, let you know that you are doing the right thing, especially because you are here. So we appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely, and I also love, I love what you said about in terms of, when you're reading a book, or you're going through something, you go to an event and you have this intention, even though you're this successful guy, you have this intention of knowing, what, there's something I'm going to get here, that one point, that one little point. I love, that it could take you to the next level, and even having that openness when you're reading a book, to allow yourself to even get something else. It's like, Napoleon Hill's been long gone, but yeah, he snuck in from the other side. He put something else in the book, right? But yeah, sneaky guy. But that you're available and open for that, and to allow yourself to get even more from the same resource, because because you're growing. I just think that's so powerful that you do that. Success leaves clues.
Clues. I mean, one of the people that I'm following now, I mean, the guy, he's made $500 million, right? He's made $500 million, and what strikes me is he still works 24/7, right? Mm-hmm. So, I'm learning from different people like that, and again, associations. I mean, I'm looking at this guy, and I'm like, okay, he's made $500 million, right, in our profession,
yeah,
and the guy's working 24/7. He's not doing it for the money, right? But there's got to be something there, right? So you always have to be learning. You got to be like, listen, sometimes I'll be like, okay, it's 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. and this guy was up at 6 and he's still hitting it hard. Success leaves clues, guys.
Wow. So what are some of like your favorite books and audios, and that you just like to give folks that as let's say they're coming from nowhere and they're like, I know where to start. Even just some of the ones that you would recommend to folks.
Yeah, if someone's just getting started, I would say I would tell you to go get Think and Grow Rich. Just go buy it, right? It's like $5, okay? And it says it on the front. What is if this book is worth $1 million to you? Okay, well, trust me, it was for me. Income disclosure through the roof, right? Results are not typical. I would also get How to Win Friends and Influence People. Okay, those are two things that I would start with right away, right? And if you're not a reader of books, become one. Okay, start with 10 to 15 pages. That's all you need, right? 10 to 15 pages. Think and Grow Rich, How to Win Friends and Influence People, The Slight Edge. Start with those 3, right? And then you're going to find someone that's worthy of being modeled. Okay, and they're going to talk about different types of personal development in books, and just start attending events so you can meet other people that are doing what you're doing. But I would definitely start with those 3. If you don't like reading, go to iTunes or whatever you use, and download the audiobook, right? Sometimes audiobooks are better. It's weird. Sometimes with an audiobook, I can actually see it acting out. It's so weird. But yeah, those are three that I would do. I would start doing it. See, here's the deal, okay? There are a bunch of people watching this right now, and maybe one of you will go get it, okay? Maybe one of you. But if you want to be different, go get it right now. All of you go get it, and just start today, and just watch what happens. Don't wait. Just start.
Yeah. Powerful. It's so powerful. Keisha, looks like you were saying something. I'm reading. Where you go?
I see a question from one of our viewers, but I don't quite understand your question, Michelle. Her question says, Greg, what are some of your best examples of creative products for giving value to potential customers? She had another comment before that, but that is her question.
Right. So with creating products, I mean, what I do, the product that I deliver is myself. Okay. So when I'm going to deliver my best self to someone, so I'm going to help them. When someone gets started with me, I'm delivering myself. I'm delivering what I can help them do to create success, right? Because if you help people get success, and you help enough people, you get everything that you want, right? And if you just keep doing that and keep delivering, right? Don't underpromise and overdeliver. Here's the deal: overpromise and overdeliver, right? And that's what you should do. And you always just need to be constantly delivering. You know, the way to become great is to find a way to serve the many, right? And the service, service to many leads to greatness, and that's kind of the product that I deliver. And here's the deal: if someone comes to me with a question that I can't answer, remember, somebody else has already gone through it. So I will find either a book, or I'll find someone who's gone through that, and I will help that person. And that's just the product that that I deliver.
Wow, that's cool. So I see, Alicia, we've got you on camera. Do you want to pop out for a sec? You able to?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're in the car. I see ya.
Yes, I know that it's hot, so I have the air on. I wanted to thank Greg for all those powerful insights that you shared on, just mindset is just an ongoing journey, and you can't get a successful person the next day. And I think that this industry gets a bad name because you hear of the success stories so fast, and they understand that this is an ongoing process for people to understand the mindset. And the insights that I got, that I always take away going, how can I be more different, that Greg can point me out on? And it just triggers those points going, I can do that. That can make me stand out even more. And so that's what I love about Greg, and how he can, push you a little harder. You just got to do it now. And so if you have any other insights on just how you bring out people uniqueness and how they stand out, I'm always I gravitate on that, So thank you again so much.
Hey, appreciate you guys having me on here.
I wanted to share that, Greg, what you said was so powerful. And Michelle, she was looking for like an ebook or training, but Michelle, what Greg said is that you are the best product. So if you work on yourself, that's going to be the best thing. So work on yourself and make sure. I mean, what you said and what stuck out to me, Greg, is overpromise and over-deliver. So you're already over-promising, but then you're going to over-deliver over that over-promise. That's extra. That's powerful. So you always giving extra value, and when you do that, you're going to see the return in that. And I understand it, and it's like, pow.
Yeah, and it's funny. I got that from a book I read, I think 3 weeks ago, and I tried it, and it worked. Amazing.
Awesome.
Again, always expanding. It's so cool. So and it's funny. I'm gonna say something because we're going here, and unless we have other questions coming, you're powerful, and you're very concise. I love it. When you say something, you've got it comes out, and you've got all of these nuggets, one after the other, very, very concise. And we're about 35 minutes into the Hangout here, but I want to see if anybody else has any comments. Otherwise, we'll pass on here, because you just there's power, I think, in having clarity and conciseness, and you've just dumped so much incredible tips to us. Anybody watching this, again, replay, take those notes. There are like that one little thing, or maybe even more than one thing that just came down here that really, you know, you take it into your heart, and we'll be interviewing you in the future. Keisha.
Awesome.
Do we have any other comments in the chat there?
I didn't see anything else.
Okay.
Okay. Nope. No, Michelle's agreeing. She's like, yes, that is powerful. Thank you. Overpromise and overdeliver. Awesome.
All right. Well, Greg, if there's anything else that you would love to share as final thoughts with everyone, and I would love what would be your call to action for folks?
Yeah, here's the deal. Get started, right, today. Go all in, right? And I say all in with your whole life, all in with your business. Just have faith and go all in. Here's the deal. I'm not telling you to go to Vegas and make money. I'm just using an example. Nobody bets $50 in Vegas and does it big, right? You got to go all in, right? If you've ever seen people with massive success, they've gone all in. Okay, they take risks. They do the things that others aren't going to do. Here's what I will tell you today. Go buy an empty book for $40. Go buy a journal. Start taking notes. Start listening to the great people, right? Just do everything that you can do and go as hard as you can. Listen to the personal development. Go hard for 90 days. Get to the next event, right? Bring some people with you. Sit in the front row. Remember, the people that make the most money are the people that sit in the front row, right? Don't be in the wall. Don't be in the wall. Don't be in the hall, right? Hanging out in the hall. Okay, we used to call those people that the hall hangers. Don't do that. You didn't go there for that, right? Go there to learn. Go there to engage. You go on this journey for the next 90 days and just watch. Watch who you become after that, right? Just go all in and just do what you need to do to create the success. If your why doesn't make you cry, it's not big enough, right? You got to think of what your why is. And you know what? If other people are creating that success, you can too. So I would just tell you this. Just start right now. And here's the cool part about our profession. You can draw a line in the sand any day, right? And you're the author of your own success, right? If you got to take authority of your business, right? And if you look at the word authority, the word author's in there. You're the author of your success.
Love that. Love that. Yeah, love that. So for those of you might see, there's a button in the bottom of the page. We've invited you to this Hangout. You can connect with us through that, and just very, very excited to have you here. We're going to have an amazing. Stay tuned with us. Stay connected. We've got lots coming up next week. And Alicia, any closing thoughts since we got you on camera? Oh, you're frozen. See you smiling. Not sure if we can get the sound. Maybe not.
Yeah, I'm driving, so I'm good. That's awesome. Thank you, Greg. Thanks, Valerie.
All right.
Thank you, Greg, so much.
Okay.
I'm going to listen to the replay. I took so many notes, but I'm sure I missed them. Like you said, at 10th time of reading that book, there was something else you got, so I'm going to watch the recording and get some more powerful notes. Thanks for all those nuggets.
Great. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, and we will see you all next week.